Hey folks, so we are back with another mystery, this time with the story of the incredibly unusual domain HG.x. Now, HG was auctioned by Unstoppable Domains in a 48-hour no reserve auction on Rarible.com. And the supposed winner of the auction, actually not that one, because there's a bit of a mystery here. The supposed winner of the auction, who won based on an invalid bid 2 minutes after the official close of the auction, we'll look into that just now, kept it for only 2 hours before transferring it back to Unstoppable Domains for free. Unstoppable Domains then immediately, literally in the same minute, transfers it to another user, the one here, who never participated in the auction at all. So let's dig a little deeper. So we can see here from the time that the most recent legitimate bid is Mix at 1 p.m. This is exactly the minute that the auction ended, which extended the auction by another 10 minutes to 1:10. Now, we know this because we see on the Rarible rules page that if a bid was made during the last 10 minutes of the auction will then be extended by another 10 minutes. So we can see here that this bid at 1:12 is actually an invalid bid because it came 2 minutes late. Now, this domain was nevertheless awarded to an invalid bidder, which is exactly what happened with Gonta Odim in tokens.x situation. Now, it gets more interesting because so now here we can see that the domain at 1:26 has been transferred to Lakefront, but then 1 hour and 57 minutes later, so nearly 2 hours later, he then transfers it back to Unstoppable Domains. No amount included here. And literally in the same minute, as you can see over there, Unstoppable Domains transfers it to another user who coincidentally had never been part of this auction at all. So the mystery doesn't stop there. If we look at Lakefront and going back to the time, so Lakefront stopped having ownership of the domain at 3:23 p.m. UTC, which is when he transferred it back to Unstoppable. However, on his profile, you can see there's all HG. So he transfers it to Unstoppable at 3:23. However, he mints HG.x at 3:41. Confused much? Yeah, so we really don't know what that means.
So a few questions anyhow. Why did Lakefront transfer it back to Unstoppable Domains, its original owner, for no money? What was the communication between Unstoppable Domains and Lakefront that led to Lakefront transferring the domain back to its original owner? That's Unstoppable Domains. Was this the plan all along? Was the plan to artificially inflate the perceived market value of this domain and then eventually transfer it back to themselves? Standard auction practices were clearly not followed by these parties. Despite these irregularities, you can see now that the UD Trading Club tweet, which was at 3:54 UTC, barely about 2 hours after the just under 2 hours after about 3 hours after the end of the auction. It actually says that
There.
Yeah, so it shows HG.x with the winning bid at 0.571. Meanwhile, at this point in time, HG.x had already been transferred back to Unstoppable Domains. So at the point of time when this announcement has been made, and of course, Sandy Carter, CEO of Unstoppable Domains, retweets this a few hours later. So about 6 hours after the auction ended, essentially we see this tweet where, and at this point in time, by the way, the domain is no longer with Unstoppable, is no longer with Lakefront. Anyways, it is already back with Unstoppable. So at the point in time when they're saying that Lakefront won this tweet, the domain is back at Unstoppable, as far as we know, back in Unstoppable's custody. So both the above tweets are after the user Lakefront transferred the domain back to Unstoppable Domains. So 2 hours after it was illegitimately transferred to him in the first place.
This is worth repeating. Sandy Carter tweeted a supposed winner for HG.x 3.5 hours after the domain had already been transferred back to an Unstoppable Domains wallet. Now, an auction establishes the price for rare objects, in this case domains, for which demand might be niche. It's therefore a problem if the original owner of the item is able to somehow reacquire the object from the highest bidder at no actual cost. This kind of behavior would indicate a fake auction designed to artificially set an inflated price for a rare item without any funds actually exchanging hands.
Now, in a traditional auction, let's say when an art piece is being auctioned, there's a word for when the auction house drives up the price of the bids to an imaginary value and then somehow secretly reacquires it at their own auction for a higher value. It's called fraud. There are probably other words that apply as well, but we'll let you be the judge.
We don't pretend to understand everything on the blockchain. Neither do we understand everything on Etherscan. We can only say that we think that something really, really weird, really strange is going on here. We do have people much smarter than us in this regard looking at the data. We'll be releasing more information soon. But in the meantime, we want to invite you, take a look at the data, take a look at the links, comment on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on, I don't even remember where else, Facebook, anywhere, YouTube. What do you think happened? Does any of this make sense to you? What's going on here?